What's the most angsty thing you did as a teenager? Wore long-sleeved black shirts and carried an umbrella, not even a parasol, around at the local pool while my family swam. I'll jump in here with ya. I bought a trench coat from Hot Topic, black, floor length, and wore it, along with all black clothes and black nail polish. I did this and made fun of the preppies. I'm a guy. I did everything in the dark. I thought closing my curtains and sitting alone in the dark by myself made me seem cool and mysterious. Turns out it just leaves you with no friends and bad eyesight. I'm sad to say I was the exact same and still am kind of doing it. Frick, I love the dark. Put on 9-inch nails super loud, closed the door to my room, and did curls of 10 pounds. Free weights shirtless in the mirror while I worried that I'd be scrawny forever. In 8th grade, I used a pencil to carve Slayer into my forearm. Since I couldn't get a tattoo, I also took every possible opportunity to tell people I was an atheist and why religion is bogus. I'm less of an butthole now. I used to write Kansas on my desk every day in English. Somebody else who sat there would erase it so I would write it again. Kansas rules. We were required to wear a red ribbon on Drug-Free Red Ribbon Day. I pierced the skin of my forearm and wore it there, not the top layer, all the way through. That is much more hardcore than anything I ever did. Hope you had some good drugs to dull the pain. Oh my. Age 14 went to my bed and cried on Christmas morning because my mom had gotten me all this stuff I didn't like. You don't know Awami. I went through a phase where I was obsessed with A Clockwork Orange. I didn't really understand what it was about at the time. I was just a teenager. I just knew it was this dark, cool movie set in the UK, where everything is automatically way cooler. Anyway, I would sit in my room after school and drink a tall glass of milk and think edgy thoughts about society and being an outsider. Well, at least you were getting your calcium in. My dad was being a dong to me and I told him I wished I could just leave my house forever. He said fine, do it, but you can't take anything I've bought with you. I proceeded to strip naked and walked out my house. He let me walk naked a couple blocks before bringing me back. Good times. This is freaking legendary. I wouldn't have the self-confidence to walk through my neighborhood naked. I don't even remember what I was mad about, but I got really mad at my mom and brother and decided to run away and literally did a loop around the park down the street and came back. Still so embarrassing. I wonder if they remember it, lol. The angsty, sad Facebook statuses. Thanks to the memories thing, I now get a daily dose of cringe from my teenage years. Wish there was a way to delete archive everything before 2013. Wrote a notebook about my feelings and gave it to the person I had a crush on. This was at 19. Young, dumb, and stung. Dang, 19. Holy crap. Mom and I argued about some bulls, so I slammed my door, put Pearl Jam's Daughter, you know, the one that goes don't call me daughter, not fit to, on repeat and cranked the volume up so my mom would hear it. I don't think she even noticed. Yahoo Chat used to have a function where you could write actions, like Grouch's ugly cousin looked at you. I used to spend hours honing the perfect, angst-ridden, my life is horrible message that probably rivaled Spork's. I'd also compose free-range poetry and spam the chat with pages of it, line by line. I have no idea why I called it that. It was supposed to be something cool and edgy. I kept a journal full of it and man is it terrible. Gauged my ears to 2 inches and gauged my septum to 0 all while I was in high school. I attracted the emo girls unfortunately. Also turned a mechanical toothbrush into a jailhouse tattoo gun. Then my friends and I gave each other home tattoos. I was smart enough to get one only on my upper thigh where no one could see. I was really into punk and hardcore and all the emo girls from my school would come up to me at lunch trying to have me listen to songs that described their feelings for me, but they would be by bands of genres I didn't listen to. Thean girl I did like when I asked her name she told me Raleigh Denisa, but no, my ears are sewn up and I joined the military. I had to escape my fate. I had the hots for a girl who helped out at her dad's grocery store. I would hang around for hours outside then pluck up enough courage to go inside. I would end up buying 2 lemons each time, then throw the lemons away afterwards. I never said more than 2 lemons please and thank you to her. I have no idea now why lemons. At least you're not a lemon stealing W. As a teenager with undiagnosed ADHD, I slammed my arm against the edge of a brick wall over 8 times in attempts to break my arm so I could miss class. I remember feeling like a coward because I would flinch before I hit the wall. I didn't break my arm, and I went to class. My parents wouldn't let me take the train with my friends into the big city when I was 15, so I threw a hot dog at the wall. The greasy dong-like mark was embedded in the wallpaper for years. I took a rush at my dad cause he wouldn't let me buy satanic literature. Plenty of things, but that's the first that came to mind. The trenchcoat kid at my high school used to read the Satanic Bible in the back of German class. Played You Ought to Know at max volume after my first relationship ended. Never mind that I was the one cheating on her. Listened to Last Kiss by Taylor Swift as I wrapped myself up in a blanket. I was a burrito stuffed with my incinerated trust, growing self-doubt, and a heart of sorrow. The city lights were bright, but they could never be on par with the way my tears glistened that night. I once realized I was wearing all black, so I changed my Joker t-shirt into a bright blue t-shirt. I did not want to be associated with edgy kids. I wrote a rap song dissing my teacher, which is basically a rip-off of Eminem songs. My dad discovered the lyric sheet and sentenced me to a year of pain and suffering. Haha, that's great. Me and my friends wrote a parody of Stuck in the Middle with You about our music teacher called Stuck in Detention with You. Ugh, just thinking about it makes me cringe. We sang it in front of the whole class, lol. About 13. Got into a fight with my mum over something ridiculous and ran away. I came back about half an hour later when my iPod ran out of battery. Should have taken a power bank. Currently a teenager. Angstiest thing I've ever done is download a bunch of My Chemical Romance songs. I still love them. Also the time I posted a picture of the moon on Instagram with the caption, "How can everything be so amazing and so terrible at once?" specifically so people would ask what's wrong and I could ignore them. I read Johnny the Homicidal Maniac and thought no one but him could understand me. I think I had a crush on him. Pretty disturbing. LOL. I can understand that to an extent. I didn't have a crush on him, but there were times that I thought he should be real because people are so awful. But then I remembered Nail Bunny, and I was like, AWW. Poor Bunny. I don't want him hurting bunnies. I hated people a lot. Used a black pen to draw a heart on my forearm with my crush's initials in it, then gradually drew in black blood throughout the day as my angst grew. My brother and I started skipping Sunday school to hang out with friends instead. Our parents made us go every week for years, even though they never went to church themselves. They were furious to learn from the Sunday school director that we were apparently more interested in matters secular than sacred. I was a teen a long time ago. We did not have the interwebs for entertainment. I would dress up like someone from Def Leppard and go to the mall, and walk from one end to the other, as the record stores were on opposite ends. LOL. Felt completely full of myself. I ran away from home and left Linkin Park's Numb playing on repeat in my room so that my parents would know I was angry. I came back home before they ever even knew that I had ran away. I was on my period. I was 15. My crush was hanging out with a guy, so I silently stormed away, ignored them as they drove up beside me to ask if I was okay, walked out to the nearby park's river while they watched, and hopped a couple stones until I could sit and brood on a rock in the middle of the river. I remember in the back of my mind I thought, I'm upset but I probably look cool as frick. I facepalm about it to this day. When I was 17 I was in the hospital a lot, and I was always kind of a grim, quiet type, so I only really made friends with 2 kinda punk rock type of nurses. They and one other nurse were going to a Tool concert, and the 3rd nurse bailed out, so they asked me if I wanted to buy the ticket. Best goddamn concert I've ever been to. Wall of my own angsty, scribbly art, ultimate highlight. Block letter liar traitor B in red and black Stabilo pen, with the edges burned, in my walk-in wardrobe, inspired by my muse, the on-off best friend. I wrote something similar in my traitorous ex-bestie's yearbook when she wasn't looking. Dyed my hair pink, had 4 lip piercings, thick winged eyeliner, wore Converse and walked around my high school at lunch by myself with Escape the Fate playing loudly. That might explain why I have bad hearing now. I'm now in my early 30s. I still have pink hair, winged eyeliner, wear Converse and listen to Escape the Fate Falling in Reverse. Emo for life IDGAF. Cut the back of my wrists very lightly with the blade from a pencil sharpener because I was so deep. I then spent a week wearing jumpers, dressing gown etc at all times because I was embarrassed of the tiny red lines. Listened to Rammstein in the dark and brooded about being friend-zoned and also how the world is full of preppy plastic people. Sometimes I'd like to go back in time so I can slap myself and tell me to stop being a little bee. I was depressed and socially anxious. Went in my room and got really restless, but didn't want to go past my family to get out of the house, and didn't think they'd let me, so I went out the window and took the dog for a walk, just to clear my head. Came back an hour later to find my parents panicking because I ran away. Some of my little lovesick poems are immortalized in the school's literary art publication. Thankfully it was just one issue per year and most people didn't know it existed. I was on the staff with like 3 other people. Teacher skipped me for this raffle to pick the order of presenting, which meant I had to present my final project on the first day. I then fell on the ground and yelled at him, "You're going in my note." He realized what I meant and was not happy with me. I had absolutely nothing to be upset about. Great family, middle class, successful with girls, wanted for nothing. I used to write grunge songs about how I was trapped in suburbia and it was stifling my rock and roll spirit. Choreographed an angsty dance about my ex to an equally angsty song. Audience liked it and thought it was a hit, but I still look back on it and cringe so hard. Oh god, I sent out an email to all of my friends telling them I wasn't going to talk to anyone the next day. No one should try to talk to me. None of you care about me and leave me out all the time, blah blah blah. I'm in pain just writing this out. I'd hang out on this abandoned stone bridge in the woods behind the art school and cut myself. I'd often invite this one girl to watch and take pics of me doing it. I was driving with my dad across Kansas and made him listen to Liz Phair, the dreaded Exile in Guerville. Luckily his hearing is crappy. Not me, but a guy in my class smoked paper, like, literally printer paper. He also always wore headphones and walked around in tank tops and did fish lips. I was a goth through 2 Australian summers, wearing black with white foundation during January in Australia, and I did it through 2 summers. Cut my hair as an attempt to be like my goth friend and also to defy my parents because my dad called my music satanic. Cut myself. Listen to Evanescence. Pierce the Veil, Sleeping with Sirens. Bring Me the Horizon. My Chemical Romance. Black Veil Brides etc. To be fair, I did attend a PTV concert last year and I still listen to MCR. Still a teen. Still dress entirely in band shirts which are all black except for one. Got a fringe that covers half my face. Cried to many of the aforementioned bands. Drew emo art. Dyed my hair. Have dyed it brown, blue and green separate times. Blasted music loudly. Secretly hated parents. I am the epitome of teen angst. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.